So again, my name is Andrew Bottom. I'm the Global Internship Program Manager at UCLA, and we want to take this opportunity just to teach you a little bit more about the opportunities for a virtual global internship and what that would look like for an engineering student. As I've mentioned in some emails prior, we're still deciding on, whether or not we can run in-person programs and really in this upcoming summer. And so trying to be a little bit preemptive of teaching students of what a virtual internship might be like should we have to pivot. We thought it'd be a good idea to host this info session so that you can learn a little bit more. Brooke is a great resource, obviously, being from CIE. She can answer questions too. So feel free to put questions in the chat if you want. We'll also at the very end have an opportunity, just an open forum to have you ask questions. It's a small group, so it's a great opportunity to ask anything that you have regarding virtual internships during that time. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Brooke and we'll get started.
Thanks, Andrew. Hi, everybody. My name is Brooke Beeland. I work at CIEE, and I am a program manager and senior advisor for global internship programs. I've had a couple of different roles here at CIEE, all internship related. I first started off working directly with employers in the Boston area and working with students and matching students with great internship opportunities here in Boston. We have snow today, so it's a white winter wonderland out my window here. So. And then after that exciting role, I transitioned to advising for all of our global in-person internship locations. And now I support institutions and students interested in either our in-person internship programs or virtual internship programs. So I am excited to see so many of you here, just, looking to gain some information on what a virtual internship could look like. Still a really great way to build your resume and gain experience even in these challenging times. So, encourage you to consider it if you need to, and I'm happy to answer any questions about the experience. And I'll go over a bit of information of what you can expect from the program point of view first, and then I'll provide some examples of internships as well. So to hop into the program experience, I'll just go through, what you can expect from that. So the program is still an 8-week program in the virtual format, the same dates that you were looking at for your in-person program, mid to late June to mid-August. For the program, you'll be matched with a project-based internship experience where you'll be expected to complete 200 to 240 internship hours. That averages out to about 25 to 30 hours a week. We identify English language internship opportunities, but if you happen to be, learning another language and you're looking to apply it in your internship experience, that's certainly something that we would welcome you to let us know. And assuming that you have, a professional proficiency, we're happy to try and accommodate your language interests in your internship match as well. So in our program, the personalized placement process is how we match you to your internship. So it's important to know that the same one-on-one custom process that you were expecting for your in-person program is also included in the virtual program. So that means that following your enrollment deadlines at UCLA, you'll be invited to have a one-on-one pre-placement meeting with our internship placement team that are based in Europe and also supported by staff globally around the world. And that one-on-one meeting drives our matchmaking process. So if you've had a pre-advising call with me and your interests change between now and when you speak with our internship placement team, totally fine. And we can take that into account. And you'll really enjoy speaking with them. It'll be a more in-depth conversation. They work directly with our employer network, so they'll have more intel on, available opportunities and, give you some insight on some ideas that may come to mind just from connecting with you then. So that one-on-one meeting is, super important and drives our outreach process. And you'll likely receive feedback during that meeting if you need any resume revisions, or if you may benefit from some additional interview coaching where we'll may ask you to schedule a mock interview to just help you prepare for the interview process. So the matching process, again, is really, one-on-one and custom towards your goals and interests. So just keep that in mind. As a part of the pre-program phase, we also send out a behavior and key motivators skill assessment. It's about a 30-minute online assessment, kind of similar to a Myers-Briggs if you've done that before. But it's a really helpful report that's provided that really highlights your communication styles and kind of your key motivators, so you can leverage that in your interview process and help you communicate, your strengths and weaknesses in the first week of your internship, and help you formulate goals with your supervisor and just set the stage for success in communicating across different communication styles. On the start date of the program, you will attend a virtual orientation that's delivered by CIEE staff. And this is really just to set the stage for success in your internship. So primarily focused on best practices for a remote internship experience. We actually have a guest speaker come in for that, who is an entrepreneur and supervisor for some of our in-person and virtual programs. So you'll get some tips from an employer. And we also kind of highlight how to set SMART goals to make sure that you make the most of your internship experience as well. Then you're going to hop into your internship, but we'll be here to support you all along the way. So throughout your 8-week internship, you will have ongoing support from our team. We do offer pre-planned check-in appointments throughout the program. And we also welcome you to reach out if you need anything throughout the experience. So we are here to help. Also, throughout the program, we deliver professional development workshops across a kind of wide range of kind of general topics that could be of interest to students across different majors. But some of them, definitely of importance to an engineer. So we usually kick off with building the entrepreneurial mindset. This is super helpful, for anyone that's interested to work in a startup or have their own startup in the future, or even just being interested to leverage innovation thinking in a large organization and innovate from within in your career. We have a great speaker from London that delivers that session and kicks off the engagement for the program. And then we also offer a workshop on intercultural learning in the remote workplace. So helping you reflect on, the cultural differences that you may be experiencing in your internship, and, having a reflective framework to discuss that and be able to notice those unique nuances. So, still really highlighting the intercultural learning that's occurring in your internship. We also bring back the skill assessment results that you had in the organizational culture and leadership workshop, which really highlights how you can leverage your specific strengths and leadership skills and communication styles within the organization, and kind of noticing the nuances of the organizational culture that you're matched with. Then have a couple of hot topics, sustainability at work, really looking at how companies and organizations are looking to weave sustainability goals and initiatives into the future of work. And then we also touch upon AI and automation as well, and how, that will continue to influence work in the future and influence new technologies moving forward. And then we conclude with expanding your business network on LinkedIn. So we have our great speaker from London that does an entrepreneurial mindset workshop return. His name's Gosbert, and he helps you leverage your networking on your LinkedIn, and building good connections on LinkedIn and not just having kind of superficial connections there, and really gives you some good tips on how to leverage that platform as you look ahead to your career. Also included in the program is a Slack channel. So we invite all students in the cohort to a Slack channel. That's really a communal space where we'll post updates for the workshops, post the recordings for the workshops, and have open forum for best practices in your remote internship. We'll share virtual networking events there. We'll invite students to share successes and to share challenges, so that we can kind of connect as a group on how best to tackle any challenges that you may be facing, or just celebrate successes as you complete assignments at your internship. Also included in the program are ongoing evaluations. So we check in with you during week 1 to make sure everything's going well. Then we also check in at the midpoint, kind of informally, to make sure things are going well and to touch base with you on your goals, and how you can make sure that you can accomplish them in the remaining time available. And then at the end of the program, we have a more formal written evaluation between students and supervisors. And after we receive your employer evaluation, we'll provide you with a certificate of completion and a digital badge for LinkedIn, so you can share your success of your internship out on your network, and make sure your network is staying up to date with all of your achievements and what's next as you look ahead to new opportunities. So that's kind of the basics of the program. Feel welcome to jump in with any questions about what is included, and I'm happy to chat. Um, for our locations for this program, you guys are all, interested in Berlin. We know that. So no worries there. Berlin is still an option in the virtual format. But we do have, a bit broader of a range of available locations that we can offer a virtual internship as well. So that includes, Toronto, Canada, and Sydney, Australia, as well as other cities in Europe. We do encourage students to come into the process for the virtual Global Internship Program with a bit of an open mind on, geographic preference, just because we really want to identify the best match for you based on your academics and your career goals. So if you have any flexibility across geographies, that's great. We encourage that. But again, if you have something that's like tying you to a specific location, whether you're learning the local language or, you're interested to apply to grad school there or what have you, let us know and we're happy to take that into account. One of the key questions that I get is how will I navigate time zones when I'm doing a virtual global internship? That's a great, question. So just to highlight that for you, these are project-based internship programs. So you'll primarily be able to project manage your assignments in your own time zone. Of course, you will have to meet with your supervisor and potentially other colleagues and team members throughout the internship. So I recommend bookmarking a time zone converter. It's going to be a helpful tool to you to, just keep track of where you're at and where your colleagues are at in time. And keep in mind that you'll have to identify mutually beneficial times to connect with your supervisor and team. So we do require at minimum that you're connecting with your supervisor at least once a week. Most often interns are connecting more often than that, but that's the minimum expectation, is that you'll have at least one weekly meeting. So that's typically easy to define in the first week of your internship, a day of the week and time that you want to have that consistent meeting. Since y'all are based on the West Coast, that means you're going to have an early morning meeting, most likely, and your colleagues will be connecting with you later in the afternoon or evening, especially if you're based in Europe. So hopefully that's helpful with that question. Definitely want to be able to connect with your colleagues as much as you can, but you won't be expected to work, the time zone hours of your host employer. You'll be able to project manage in your own time zone. So just a couple of tips for success in the remote format. Communication is always important as an intern, but it's even more important in the remote format. So do encourage you to communicate early and often. Communicate any other commitments that you may be juggling along with the virtual internship, whether you're taking other courses or you may have a job or may have family responsibilities, what have you. Communicate that early and, feel comfortable setting boundaries on when you'll be able to sign on and communicate with the host about your internship. I do want to highlight that it's important certainly to communicate with your supervisor when you have questions and you're facing challenges and you need resources and support to move forward. But it's also important in the remote format to let them know when you've completed things, when you've completed tasks, when you're wrapping up your project and you might be ready for the next project soon. So communicate early, often about anything positive and anything negative that you may need assistance with. Time management and project management strategies are going to be super important to drive your experience in a positive direction. You likely have already come up with some strategies that have been working for you in this remote format that we've all been kind of working and learning in this past year. So, lean into those strategies that have been working with you. If you haven't yet found what works for you, definitely take some time to reflect on that now so you can set the stage for success in the summer. it's important to be a proactive self-starter in any internship, but definitely important in the remote format. You'll want to, take initiative, point out when you see other challenges or opportunities for the business or organization. Be willing to pitch projects that are of interest to you, and really take initiative to make the most out of the experience. So you'll get kind of what you put in. So definitely encourage you to be proactive throughout the experience. In terms of networking and connecting with folks outside of your, direct supervisor relationship, you'll want to be creative and find ways to connect with the broader team and introduce yourself. So figure out how the greater team is connecting, whether that's on a Microsoft Team channel or, on a Slack channel or a Skype channel, and make sure that you're getting access to that and engaging. Don't be afraid to introduce yourself via email to other team members and to request, short coffee meetings to just get to know the other team members and get to know other roles and departments that may be of interest to you down the line. And then a couple of last tips is to lean into your cohort of peers. You may be able to exchange contacts for additional networking across internships, and you'll be able to kind of communicate about successes and communicate about challenges with your peers, and that's been really helpful for a lot of students in the programs that we've had running virtually thus far. So I encourage you to lean into your peers, and then utilize CIEE staff for support. We don't know if you need help until you tell us. So while we do have, predefined check-in opportunities, you can always ask for additional opportunities to connect, and we are happy to support. And we appreciate your feedback, whether positive or facing a challenge, so that we can jump in and help. Most often, we'll try to advise you with strategies to be able to move forward positively on your own, but we're also here to jump in if we need to offer support directly with your supervisor to improve your experience. So always feel welcome to reach out to us. So now I'm going to transition to just taking a look at some examples. Generally, for engineering students interested to do a remote internship, I typically advise to be flexible under the broad umbrella of engineering. It can be a little bit challenging in the remote format to guarantee niche interest areas. If you're really focused in aerospace engineering or something really niche and specific, that can be challenging just because the remote format is not necessarily going to be hands-on in a hardware oriented fashion. I'm not an engineer, so I'll be speaking very generally. So just come in with an open mindset to gain some general engineering experience. I would say engineering students are also really attractive to companies when they're flexible to have kind of a hybrid experience, which may involve some technical projects and some business-oriented projects. So I would say that's one way to stand out against your competitors, is being flexible to contribute to a wide variety of projects. We partner with a lot of startups and small businesses and organizations. So the small environment really affords a lot of opportunity to jump in on a variety of different projects. So do encourage you to be open-minded to that and flexible to that. Just given kind of some of the limitations that can exist in this particular field. But as you can see, we've definitely had engineering companies host interns, and we have had engineering students participate in our programs already. This past summer, we had some engineers participate, and then over this fall and early spring, we've also worked directly with some engineering schools. So we're definitely actively engaging partners in this area, and there are opportunities. A couple of examples. William, you saw him on some earlier slides. He is an international student studying in the United States at Washington and Lee. He has a blog feature on our website. So if you want to hear that blog. He was an engineering major, and he actually interned with a startup in Boston, which isn't an option for you all, but I just wanted to share his story since he is an engineer and has a blog feature on our website that you can explore. He interned with a clean fracking startup based out of
Brooke, I think your volume is going in and out, Brooke.
Sorry about that. I had a call coming in, so
Oh, okay, got it.
I will just put on a do not disturb for that, so that doesn't happen. My apologies. Hopefully that'll do the job. Great. So back to William. So he was at a startup, and he did a lot of research around non-dilutive funding opportunities to improve the business investment opportunities, and also did some research around analyzing social and health impacts of fracking, among other projects. So you can see kind of how he was using both his engineering training and also, leveraging some, research and writing skills from other areas of his studies. Then we had Jake and Alan. Usually, I would say most often you'll be the only intern at a host, but sometimes you may be paired up with someone else that likely has a different focus area academically and professionally. So you'll have, separate projects, but it can be nice to have, a pal or a peer there to connect with. So Jake and Alan both interned at a Berlin startup called Orion. And this is a additive manufacturing technology startup working in superplastics, for a variety of different industries, including aerospace, automotive, medical. And this startup is an example of a startup that wants to work with a wide variety of different students. So they have research and development opportunities, design opportunities, as well as communication opportunities too. So Jake was more kind of focused in the technical, like R&D space, and Alan was focused more in the communication space. Diana, Portland State student, interned with the Little Guy Games out of Toronto. It's a small game development startup. They too have offered a variety of different roles in game development itself, as well as marketing, communications, and business development. And Alana, which is actually a UCLA student, was at Zena Technologies out of Berlin. This is kind of more of a software engineering style opportunity. It's a kind of a digital assistant, if you will. A digital assistant style platform is the startup, and she's worked on Android development projects. A recent student also worked on some iOS development projects. Then also doing some web development and content improvements, and kind of documenting and organizing kind of all the backend structures of the platform. Speaking really high level, again, not my area of expertise, but hopefully some of these examples are helpful. We also are seeing a lot of our employers that we've listed as examples for the Berlin program, offering opportunities in the virtual format. So I tried to choose some examples that are in addition to that list of in-person examples that we've already shared. So a couple of different experiences here, but I would say a good number of the opportunities that we typically have available in person are pivoting to offer a version of an internship role or opportunity in the virtual format as well. But I would just say, like, coming in with a flexible mindset and then being open-minded to contributing to a wide variety of projects is certainly helpful for you to still gain valuable bullet points on your resume and, have successful outcomes on projects during the 8 weeks, and allow you to connect with the industry and connect with network opportunities to get connected to other folks out there. So hopefully those examples are helpful, but always happy to answer questions about your specific interests. So happy to take the time to answer questions here now. If anyone has any questions, and this is just a quick screenshot of a couple of our students. Bianca and Cara were interning with Peregrine Technologies out of Berlin, and this is a screenshot of them connecting with their supervisor and greater team. So I know we're all, a little tired of the screen time, but there's still valuable, professional development opportunities and networking opportunities through a virtual internship. So encourage you to consider that if that's something that's in line with your goals moving forward. So happy to take questions.
I'm going to jump in here just real quick. I just want to thank you, Brooke, for presenting on the virtual internship opportunities for engineering students. Again, at UCLA, We'll be communicating with you shortly within this month, within the month of February, of what our decision and plan are moving forward as far as in-person, the ability to do in-person opportunities. So definitely want to just be preemptive and at least provide you some examples of what the virtual program might look like and what experiences you might have there. So I'm going to move forward and stop the recording now, but I'm going to take this time that you can ask questions. It's a great opportunity to ask Brooke questions here while we have a small group.